on Korea, the MMR of this game. Um, and basically what this video's goal is going to be is to basically go over the game theory of playing Ryze against a top laner. So this was recorded on Twitch, and now I'm going to basically just be providing commentary on the thought processes and the movements, as well as detailing and showing everything, of course, using my trusty paint right here to better articulate everything that I'm going to be talking about. Just going to speed this up. So it ends up being Ryze against Renekton, which obviously is a very Ryze favorable matchup, but I couldn't really get a better game to show everything that I wanted to talk about, because I feel like a lot of things occur in this game that would help a lot of Ryze players. And I know Ryze is becoming a very popular pick, and he's also one of my best champions. So anyways, before I start out by going into the game mechanics and stuff, I just want to mention that I'm gonna write my, this is, so I run 9021 on Ryze, okay? And if I'm against a melee top laner or someone that I can trade with and poke a lot, I get the +3 gold on hit mastery with the +40 starting gold, okay? And that just enables me to get the mana potion, which enables me to pressure a lot more with my Qs at level 1, and bully them when normally it would be kind of wasting of my mana to do that. And the +3 gold on hit is really good against melee top laners, because you'll probably end up hitting them like 50 to 75 times throughout the duration of the laning phase, which is absolutely gigantic, because that essentially equates to a kill in lane just off that mastery. So I just prefer that over, other mastery sources. Some alternatives to playing Ryze, of course, is to just run him 0-21-9, but I don't like this path of Ryze. I prefer to just continue to run him utility. So that's that. My runes, when facing a melee top laner or when facing a short-ranged AP caster, such as like Kennen, or you face Teemo. What's another short-ranged AP caster? Technically Soraka, sort of, but she's very uncommon in top lane. Run 9 hybrid pen reds, and that's because your auto attacks will be playing an entirely huge part throughout the duration of the laning phase. So if you're not going to be facing something like this, say you're going to be playing Ryze mid even, or you're going to be playing against a long range top, such as like Rumble or something, he doesn't really go into auto with the CS. If Rumble's playing it correctly, he can easily just CS with his abilities and stuff, and you're never really going to get auto attacks off. Then you can just run 9 flat magic penetration reds. For yellows, I run 4 times flat armor and 5 times flat HP, and this is just generically standard stuff. Now, the blues. So if you can get a kill pre-6, like this is very, ooh, fuck. Hi, I just deleted it. If you can get a kill pre-6, okay? If you can get a kill pre-6, then run 9 flat mana blues. Okay? If you can't get a kill pre-6, so say you're facing someone that he either beats Ryze in lane, or you're just never really going to get an opportunity to kill him if the person's not really messing up. I'm going to use Rumble again as an example, because Ryze shouldn't be able to kill Rumble if Rumble's not messing up. You also necessarily shouldn't be able to kill a Riven, but she's starting to... And some, like, Mundo, you shouldn't necessarily be able to kill. Like, you can poke and you can abuse him, but you shouldn't be able to get a kill, like, pre-6 or anything. In that event that you can't get a kill pre-6, run 9 mana per level blue. And the reasoning for that is because you'll also be playing the lane differently, in the sense that as soon as you get your tier, you'll be exhausting your mana much more than you normally would, and that's because you want to charge up the tier to when you're finally enabled to get a kill, which is probably going to be around level 9 to like level 10, possibly even 11. So what you want to do is, throughout the duration of that, because you can't get a kill, you don't want to poke as much as you normally would. Instead, you just want to spam your Q, your W, your E and stuff, and charge your tier stack to generate more mana for yourself, so that when you do finally gain kill opportunity, whether it's with jungler assistance or through some other means, your mana is at the highest that it could possibly be. Whereas in other lanes, typically, say you're facing a Renekton, you're facing a Tryndamere, you're facing a Trundle, a Shyvana or something, where you do have high kill potential in the lane, depending on if you're purple or blue side, especially. you're not gonna want to just exhaust your mana at all times. You're gonna want to understand exactly how much mana you need throughout the duration of a trade. Generally, when you approach like level 10, level 11, Ryze generally needs about 600 mana for a full-on trade when including ultimate and stuff, and that's if he has 20% CDR. So you gotta be cognitively aware of all these little things about him when factoring in his mana control and stuff, because mana control is one of the ways to control Ryze. Because you don't want to exhaust your mana, you don't want to go too low, you don't want to fall to 200 mana, and you kind of have kill potential, but now you don't, because now you only have one QWERQ, so those little things are a little bit bad. So anyways, my standard setup in a typical situation, okay, is this 4 times armor, 4 times HP, and then 9 times flat mana. That's the standard situation, if I can get the kill again, okay? So let's go into the video. So, again, here we have purple side Ryze against blue side Renekton, which I like more than blue side Ryze against purple side Renekton, and the reason is because purple side Renekton, he has some more mobility, I guess, and maneuverability underneath his tower, and he has some more freedom. He's able to not be pressured as badly as if it was whatchamacallit, as if he was blue side. So, oh, yawning. Okay. But the way you want to approach the matchup, so open Sapphire Crystal, 2 red pots, 1 blue pot. If you're not running the Mastery the same way as me, that's okay. Just open Sapphire Crystal and 2 red potions. I say red pot for red potion. I don't mean red elixir. So, and then obviously as soon as the game commences, don't upgrade a skill. I mean, I could in this instance because I'm not going to be doing anything. But Chaco's asked me to come into this bush. But so for instance, like right now, in the event that they come up here or something, or like Fizz gets caught, maybe I have to activate Rune Prison to, save her or something, rather than activating Q, and I just have to take the temporary disadvantage, level 1. But I'm standing in this bush in case, Renekton tries to come up to ward it or something, and I can hit him with a quick Q. I'm checking on mid with the F keys, just monitoring the lane. It's letting me, get information about basically, like people passing through mid and stuff. So here, okay, I come back into lane. Alright, and I noticed Renekton's not here right now, and what you want to do in a matchup where if you have a level 2 jump, and what I mean by that is if you can get level 2, you can greatly sway the lane in your favor, then you want to get it as fast as possible. Typically, a lot of people would know this, or know the level 2 jump back when Red Elixir was really popular, because Red Elixir revolved around getting that level 2 and then going all in with Red Elixir. But in this case, Renekton's still not here, and this is also one of the reasons that I emphasize in solo queue, until you get to the really high elos, don't, do invades, don't do, fans, don't do, anything, that requires really good synergy and coordination from the team, because the fact of the matter is that everyone probably got to the elo that you're at through using different methods, and now no one's on the same page, so I don't really like to bother with that. So because this is only platinum, I'm not gonna do weird stuff. So anyways, come to lane, you CS, and you start hitting it as fast as possible. And you'll notice that I try to focus on the back minions. I try to prioritize them over the front minions, because why? It's because the front minions, now here's what I'm already basically seeing as soon as the game begins. So we use this, get my colors. So Renekton comes in through here, so there's a high possibility this is warded temporarily just to prevent a 2-level gank, but I'm not going to type it because I can't be so certain. Now, you want these 3 minions, this one just died, to not really get auto-attacked by yourself until they get really low on HP. What you want to do is you want to start working on the back minions with Ryze's auto-attack range, and the reasoning behind that is you just want to start damaging them up as much as possible, so that when the next minion wave, which we see it's right here, okay, on the map, we see this, minion wave, then we know that their minion wave is also right here, okay? So this is about to arrive to lane in about 10-15 in-game seconds. So what we really want to do is we want to soften this up so that we know that this will die, this will be close to dead by the time the minion wave arrives, and we'll probably have this killed, and we have the potential to kill this minion, okay, with like a Q or something. So we're only left with having to kill about 2 minions, and the way that Renekton is angling himself, we know that he's not going to be able to get this minion without taking too much damage. And if he comes in here, okay, we have a really good arc over to the left, because if he begins to try to walk up and auto attack us, he would generate aggro from here, and then if we go right, then he would also draw aggro from these 3 minions. So it's a really good setup that we have, and if you approach top lane from purple side as Ryze, you kind of want to angle yourself towards the top of the bushes until the later phases where, you know, you have level 2, you have level 3 or something, and you want to begin zoning, in which case, then yes, you want to swing downwards so that you have control over river, and you have denial of ward ability. And then once we get to the tower and stuff, we'll go into that a little bit more, but so that's the current thought process. So here, now, we notice that if you watch that again really quick, so we're just gonna go through that one more time, because this is a little important and I keep fucking it up. Okay, so we're gonna go through this in like a mini freeze frame. All right, so he's basically shown me with his input that he is going to go upwards, right? So I click downwards, but you notice the way that I click downwards is I'm angling myself over to the right because he has to go over to the left. So I want to still maximize space and efficiency on my champion. So if we freeze frame this, okay, now I go for the Q, and I hit him with the Q. And now I also notice that Renekton's not turning, okay? You can basically see by his face and stuff that he's not turning, he's not angling to click towards me. This means he's not putting any direct input towards me. Nothing is in my direction. So now he goes to get the CS. I recognize that. My attack animation's off cooldown. I just hit S to stop moving. I stand still, and then I auto attack him. Okay, and because the cooldown on my Q is still 2 seconds, I don't move into him. So now I auto him again. I back up because I just want to be fading you know, the range on his, see that? Just want to fade that. You want to basically have this memorized when Renekton's like moving anywhere. You just want to have this arc, you know, space memorized. And so now I'm going to stand here, but you're going to see me move back into him now because my Q's off cooldown and he's given up the ability to CS these 2 things, and I know he wants to hit this, okay? But by autoing him and Qing him from this direction, these minions wouldn't be able to hit me. These 2 right here, like 1 and 2. They're not able to hit me before I can just go into this bush and break vision. Okay, so I have free reign to hit him with a Q and like 2 autos right now. Okay, and then you saw the minions follow me, but instead he angled just straight down, so I didn't end up going left. If he had angled bottom left, then I would have gone bottom left. Now right here, this is where it gets like really nitty gritty. Okay, so he comes in to get the CS again, right? So as you can see, my attack animation is going off, right, on the minion. So what's about to happen, all right, when factoring in like foresight and everything, this is gonna die, all right? As it dies, I'm gonna launch the Q at him because he'll be standing around here, all right? So I'm gonna chunk him down to here. At the same time, it'll, you know, reset and I'll auto attack him. And then when factoring in movement speed, okay, 345, 360, okay? I'll be able to catch him if he comes to this distance. I'll be able to catch him with a Q right around this vicinity, if that occurs. If that doesn't occur and he gets greedy and tries to go for these 2 things, you just have to keep an eye on your XP bar. Because if you can get the level 2, now we know that the level 2 is not going to occur, you know, right away. If you can get the level 2, you walk into him, you get the rune prison, you get the auto, then Q, and then auto again. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Now we're gonna hit play again, and now I DI into him. And the reasoning behind this is because his HP is so low, and he's doing an all-in build. And what I mean by all-in, it's not necessarily all-in. I don't mean to call it that, but he has a potion and a Doran's blade. Okay, so technically my build innately scales better than his because I'm building into my core items from level 1. So by moving into him, when I have the mastery on these 2 potions, so automatically I always have 40 HP at my disposal that I can turn on any second, which is essentially an auto attack. So I basically have full HP right now, even though I don't. So he doesn't have that mastery, and then his red potion would have to channel over a duration of a few seconds. So I'm completely content just going into him at this point, losing half my HP if it comes to it, even if he escapes with like that or something, because I would zone him out of these 3. And by zoning him out of this, 3 amount of CS, that's essentially like 50 gold, and then where would his XP bar be standing? He would only be halfway to level 2. So that's a really big problem, because then as the minion wave arcs up, okay, and it comes up into the lane, and it comes up, it's gonna go like this, okay? I'm able to position myself inside of this brush and zone him out of the CS because the lane will have frozen here, okay? And this is all being thought in my head like 30 seconds or like 45 seconds in advance, okay? And this is all based on the game timer. And you can factor this in based on how minions move. Minion movement, if you don't know how it works, I think that there's like a wiki that explains minion movement and stuff. But this is just the foresight that you kind of have to be having based on these variables that are presented. So we hit play, and now you notice that you go over this in slow-mo or whatever. Okay, he goes in, and he goes for the Q, and he hits me with it, which is a little bad. But now that he hit me with it, okay, I know that his Q is on cooldown for 8 seconds, right? So if you don't have the muscle memory for it, you can just take a quick glance at top right. And so now he's on cooldown for 8 seconds. So he's completely exhausted. And the fact that he's standing right on top of me, and the fact that I have higher movement speed than him, he is about to get punished a lot. And I hit S specifically to stop moving because I know he can't chase me anymore. And the reasoning that he can't chase me is because these minions are about to arrive. If he continues to chase me, he's going to pull aggro from these 2 minions as well as the additional minions behind me. So I just hit stop because I'm like, I know you can't come at me. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So now I just walk into him, auto, and then Q. You want to maximize efficiency with using your auto attacks. If you're ever in range to still auto attack over Q, do it, unless you're going for the killing blow. This is also another reason specifically that I run hybrid pen runes. Is because these auto attacks are playing a really huge part in how badly he's getting like bullied in lane. And so now my thought process is as the lane resets. So this is basically like if we were playing boxing or like we were boxing or something, that would have been like round 1 or something, right? And we go back to our corners. So when we separate from each other with such distance, like such spacing, that's basically us going back to our corners. And so now what I have to do is I have to evaluate how the lane's going to move. I'm looking at what minions are aggroing what minions, okay? Obviously, I'm looking at the game timer. I'm taking a look down at Shaco to see like what he's trying to do. And I'm trying to basically judge, is the jungler coming or not? Is there any possible way that the jungler's coming? Now, he pops a potion, okay, which is completely fine. So right now, I'm thinking that his HP is going to go up to about there, all right? So I know that's all I have to deal with, and I'm feeling completely comfortable because my HP is going to go relatively back to full, and I still have the emergency 20 HP plus the emergency 10 mana, and then I still have a blue potion and a red potion. So right now, my goal is just going to be to CS this, and then move into him in zone. And the reasoning for that, again, is because the timing synergy with Shaco, okay? I need to get a ward down and River Brush, but at the same time, I want to deny River Brush. From being able to be warded, especially because I'm playing with a Shaco, because that's even like more dangerous, you know what I mean? So basically my goal right now is I notice that these minions are going to arc upwards, alright? And so I want to arc downwards, and I kind of want to mirror him. And by doing this, and I get the ward down in River Brush, then I can move back into lane where these 3 minions are gonna, stabilize, like 1, 2, 3, and they're gonna start firing their lines, and I can stand in between them. And I can zone him out of any ranged CS. So that's basically what you have to be doing right now. And then he elects to come in for a CS. So because he elects to come in for the CS, I get a Q off, a Q trade off. So now the situation changes, where I don't have to go down to River right away. partially because of his movements, because again, I'm trying to mirror him. So because he didn't angle himself to go up to, you know, the left-hand side to try to come in and get CS that way, I don't have to mirror myself by going downwards into the right. Additionally, his HP is still relatively low, and I don't have level 2 yet, so I'm waiting to try to get the Rune Prison, and as soon as I do, I'm going to become much more of a bully inside of the lane. Okay, now I have it, and as soon as I have it, you see, I just walk right in, zone him, and now this is what I mean about the cutoff, is you're just trying to, you know, zone him completely out of CS. And the video, what's going on? Okay. CS as slow as possible, just freeze it. Yeah, and now I'm going to let the minions stabilize, and now I'm doing exactly what I was talking about. I'm going to now stand in between the minions and try to zone him out of the back row. Okay, and now he messes up. Auto again. If you're ever in range to auto, then do so. And now here's where you abuse Ryze's movement speed. I ended up missing that CS. That wasn't too good, but I missed that CS too. Okay. So in these instances, in these particular instances, right now, this is the result of purple side Ryze against blue side Renekton. As if Renekton gets shoved into tower like this. Okay, so he goes. So this is something I want to talk about. So when this is happening, right? I'm not really afraid of anything right now, because if he tries to come up now, he can't let the wave. He can't let the wave shove to here. Okay, the reason that he can't let the wave shove to here is because he will miss all CS, completely just miss everything, and that's partially because, again, you just memorize the tower, you know, the tower's attack range stuff, and you do the stop command with Ryze on the edge of it, and then you just punish him with Qs, Ws, and Es and auto attacks all day. So with this lane shoving, and I also have the level 3 spike on him already, so my Q is technically like empowered in a way. I also have the base HP gain, I have the base mana gain, you know, so all that is in my favor right now. With the minions coming for me, you know, shoving into his tower, I don't have to be worried about any sort of even a gank right now, a 2-on-1. And the reason that I say that is because Renekton's too low for a 2-on-1, because all these minions would deal so much damage to anyone that attacks me that Renekton wouldn't make it out alive, and it would be unfavorable for him. So what I want to do, you'll see, is, so he flashes. Now I was going into, now see, this is where it gets a little nitty gritty. He flashes, okay, and this I wasn't expecting. I wasn't entirely expecting this, but if he is going to go for a make or break, it has to be now, and the reasoning is because these minions won't aggro him right away. So what happens is I was going into pressure and just kind of zone him again out of the back CS and just try to make him uncomfortable and make him break. But he flashes in. So when he flashes in here, okay, we're going to go through this in like freeze frame. So activate the Q, activate the Rune Prison, get the auto attack, and now my minions are doing work, and then I flash backwards into the minions. Okay, and we end up getting first blood. The level up is really key to this. Not level up as in level 4, but the level 3 was extremely key to enabling this to happen. And the other thing is that even if the jungler were to have come, Renekton probably would still die, because I would be able to see the jungler coming, and in that sense, I could just flash backwards into my minions faster, not to the right-hand side, but to the left-hand side to maximize efficiency of the minions' auto attacks. So then I end up getting, you know, first blood, and I just go home. I mean, yeah, the level 4 played a part. I lived with 15 HP. So here, you just want to tab while they're dead to see, you know, what they buy and stuff. So that's all that I'm doing. And now I end up getting a lot of potions. I get the green ward. I get the tier because you just want the tier. And now because the lane's shoved, I'm just gonna move directly back towards getting a ward off in river. I don't want to go straight to the lane and get, you know, I can miss a CS or two if it means that I can get off a very deep, safe ward in River Brush. But at the same time, what ends up happening is Shaco shows bot, okay? So when Shaco shows bot, I don't have to ward River Brush entirely, and the reasoning is because attention is demanded at bot lane. All right, and with the wave shoving right now in my favor, as you can see all the minions and stuff, I don't really have to worry about a jungler gank unless the jungler is in one of these brushes, but I really don't expect that, especially because Renekton's only level 2 and he needs to kill these minions to get the level 3. So here's a case where he slice and dices, okay? And now, as you can see, Ryze, alright, so he comes in on me, and you can already see the slice and dice has gone off or whatever, and he's done his little Q. And you can already see my face is turning. So I've already hit stop right here, because I know you can't come any further. Like, this is the end of your road. Like, you cannot walk up here. Not only does he now only have 345 when facing 387 movement speed, this is really, really, really important. He just can't come into this tower, because then he would start drawing this aggro, I would rune prism him inside of the minions, and he would end up, my minions would basically be like an extra Q, if he does that. So because I recognize this, okay, and again, now I just have it memorized, like, okay, your Q's on cooldown, 8 seconds, your slice and dice is on cooldown, it's like 18 seconds. So even if you're running like 5% CDR or like 10% CDR level 1 or something, it doesn't really matter, it's very, minute, of what it's gonna do. So I stop here, and I'll turn, and then I rune prison, and now I walk in, and I try to get a Q off, but he was out of range. And now, again, I'm going to stand in between the minions. I'm going to keep this distance, because remember, all that you have to do against Renekton, alright, let me give you an analogy. If a person has a 4-foot sword, you only have to stay 4 feet and an inch away, or 4 feet and a centimeter away. So basically, all I have to do against Renekton be outside this radius, whilst also being inside of a safety zone against his slice and dice. Like, obviously, if there's a ton of minions right here or something, right? I don't want to be standing like here, or be standing here, get slice and diced, have to auto attack him, and then draw aggro from everything. Obviously not. What I want to be doing is I want to be standing inside my own minions, and then denying him CS as he tries to go for it, using Rune Prison, and with my Q. So that's the thought process right now. So here is where he messes up. Now you'll see this. Okay, so we're gonna go over this really slow. So I Q him, get the auto, and I notice that he's just elected to get that CS, okay, because he used an auto attack. So right now his auto attack is on cooldown. Even if he slice and dices into me or something, if it was up, his auto attack's still on cooldown. Okay, so then he does that swirl, he gets the CS, and now what do you notice about me? I am DIing downwards, okay? And the reason that I DI downwards is because he's dead. This damage, now remember, each bar is 100 HP, right? So Renekton has about 300 and, 300 something HP right now. Or not, I'm sorry, 400 like 10 HP. So I know this is going to be a kill. We both have our summoners exhausted, and I don't need summoners because I have 42 movement speed over him. So even if like he was standing behind this minion, I could essentially chase him and get off a WQ. But because we're in such close proximity, I know that I can close any sort of gaps he can try to create, even when using Slice and Dice. So all I want to do right now is trap him. I don't care about these minions. I'm so high on HP. I have emergency potions if I need it. Technically, I have 60 emergency HP. And again, that's some way to consider using the mastery on the red potion is they are emergency. You can activate them to get that plus 20 at any second, So when factoring in all of these things, and when factoring in how he's playing the lane, he's being abnormally aggressive. Now, there would be no way that the jungler could somehow show up here right now. And the reasoning that I say that is because Hecarim needs time to coordinate a gank. Alright, he's already used one of his abilities, so it doesn't make sense. The jungler's not coming. He used too many abilities, the way that he angled himself and how much damage he took, all of these things added up basically would imply that there's no jungler assistance coming, okay? And as soon as he uses that Q, I'm like, okay, you're dead. Because now he's given up, the jungler's not coming, your HP is too low, you don't know the damage output, and you clearly didn't factor in our movement speeds. And movement speed is key on Ryze. It is. I put so much emphasis on the movement speed on Ryze because this is what truly enables him to be a bully in top lane. In mid lane, it is important, but not to the degree that it is in top lane because of all these little mechanics that occur in top lane, because top lane is one of the biggest lanes. Well, it's the biggest solo lane. So now, okay, and now I let the ricochet go off, and that's it. So as soon as he makes that error with the Q, he gave away that his jungler can't be coming, and then on top of that, he has no escape mechanism. So I just end up killing him. And now here, to finish up, the CSing and stuff, I just want to spam my abilities as much as possible. And again, the reason you want to spam them as much as possible is because I know I'm recalling, so I don't need the mana. I know I'm not going to get ganked because I'm under tower. So I just want to do what? I want to charge my tier. That way I can get back to lane, and even if that means that my Qs are only dealing an extra 10 damage or something, who cares? Because then if I throw 4 Qs at Renekton, that's an extra 40 damage. So I just want to be using as many abilities as I can to shove waves. And I'll also touch on this in a little bit when I get level 6. So, end up recalling, and because the lane's going the way that it is, and, Renekton can't really do too much, you have two choices. Depending on how, if I were like trying to play really greedy and stuff, maybe I can go Sork Pen Boots in this situation, and by freezing lane and then having like almost 100 movement speed over him, it would be really brutal. But in this case, I'm just gonna go for Sapphire Ruby Crystal and get right back to lane. So now, even though I don't have Catalyst, I don't have the passive from Catalyst, so I can't do like cute things with trades and then getting the level up to generate a massive, double potion. I can still just do what I do. So here, okay, this again is really good, because this is another instance of the stop command, because I feel like a lot of people don't use stop enough. Okay, so here I auto attack that minion, and now this is really obvious, like what he's gonna do. This is so obvious because everything, like the stars aligned. Like, so he wants the CS and he also wants to hit me, and he also has Fury. So he has these minions going for him too and whatever. So as soon as I see his face turn, I already know what's coming. So I'm going to DI backwards, obviously, into my minions, right? But at the same time, I'm going to get ready to use my spells. So you'll see that my mouse cursor is over him because I'm playing with all SmartCast. So I know that he's going to come into me and he's going to hit me. But as soon as he hits me, okay, he's going to be standing, X marks the spot. I'm going to try to get to here, and then I'm going to, stop. Okay, now I'm probably going to get stunned around here. So this is going to be Renekton, this is going to be me. Alright, and as soon as this happens and this ends, he's done. He's completely out of it. And the funny thing is that because of this, this Ruby Crystal, I can eat his full combo. And it's almost as if nothing has happened. On top of that, I have the level up advantage right now. So I'm just going to eat all this, I'm going to hit stop, and then I'm going to walk into him and punish him with auto attacks, and then I'm going to abuse the movement speed, because again, you have to factor this in, to probably shove him all the way back down. And now we go back to our corners. Except now, the fact that, so he was shoved all the way back down into the lane, and now I just want to freeze the lane. Okay, so I hit S, just stand still, CS as slow as possible. I do want to charge my Q in the meanwhile. I don't want to just not be doing anything. So if you don't know how to CS with Ryze under tower, let me give you a little guide on it right now. Some people don't know how to CS with Ryze. That's completely fine. He is a very awkward champion. These minions, spellcaster minions, you hit them once, the tower hits them, and then you hit them. Okay, these minions, okay, you let the tower hit them twice, and then you auto attack it. In some cases, okay, if you're under leveled or something, so like you died and you're like level 6 when you should be like 7 or 8, you're gonna have to auto these minions after the tower hits them once, and then you'll have to auto them again. And that's because they'll be left with like that much HP after your auto attack, and that's just because you're under leveled. So under leveled, it gets a little bit more awkward to CS as, and then obviously just timing this minion with your auto attack is fine. Alternatively, if you don't know this, so if I were to throw an E and I wanted to get both of these guys right now, I would throw the E onto the back minion because it would ricochet off the front minion twice. And then obviously finish up the ricochet on the last minion. So to maximize damage, okay, you always throw the E on the healthiest target to kill the weakest target with the ricochet, but also deal the most damage to the largest HP minion. And then alternatively, once you get to the later stages, like once you have Roa, I think around 14 to 16 minutes, your auto-attacking to CS the back wave of minions is just simply an auto-attack plus 1 Q. And that equates to a CS. And then in the Ryze coaching video, I went over how to shove lines as fast as possible when using in his combos with QR and E and stuff. So that's all in another video, so I won't waste that time right now. So I ended up missing some CS there, but it's no big deal. So now, again, Renekton's out of the lane. So now all that I need to be doing is like looking at the minimap, seeing whatever's going on. And occasionally when I have to, then yes, I use my spells to charge my tier, but it's no big deal. Again, if you can ever get to a minion, like you're out of range and you know that your auto attack or your Q projectile won't hit it in time, just use W to get it because W is instantaneous. Even though it's slightly shorter range. Okay, so now Renekton comes back to lane, and what do you notice that I do instantly? I get his avatar up. So you'll see this really, really quick. This is really important. You want to be a good laner, start always having their avatar up. As soon as he comes into lane, I just click him. Give me that avatar. So what am I looking at right now? I'm looking at his... Now, this doesn't apply to just, like, Renekton. This applies to everyone. This does not apply to Ryze versus Renekton. This applies to everything. You're trying to be a better laner? Do this. Always have their HP visible. Always have their mana visible. What items did he get? How many potions did he get? How long can he sustain? You know what I mean? Another thing to be looking at is what is the armor value? What's the MR value? You know what I mean? Watch and see if it's going up in level. If you didn't LoL Nexus or LoL King or OpGG. It could mean that he's running scaling, you know, magic resistance per level. Additionally, you know, you always just want to keep tabs on this, and then if you're really serious about having a champion pool, I've talked about this before, you want to know, okay, I'm level 5, my full combo does X damage. I'm level 6, my full combo does X damage. I'm level 7, my full combo does X damage. You know what I mean? And it's not that hard, because if you can learn the times table in elementary school, you can learn to memorize, you know, 40 or 50 different numbers in consideration to a level and an item that you have based on an AP value or whatever. And then you just take a quick glance at, like, you know, their HP or their, you know, their armor or their MR. This is for, like, nitty-gritty situations, by the way. Don't do this when you're both, like, full HP. But if you're questioning, like, a dive or something and you have those numbers, like, memorized or something, you can easily just do that. Obviously they can be up to influence depending on like runes and stuff, but that's why you want to check this stuff. So this is important, you know, because it can let you know exactly where your damage is going to be standing, and can let you know what kind of runes they're running if you didn't LoL King or LoL Nexus or whatever during the loading screen. So anyways, he comes back to lane, so I get that avatar up, I see the Negatron. And now, you'll notice that right there. Let me just do this. Oop, sorry. I went back a little too far. Now, what I tried to do, now the distance was incorrect, so this is a mistake by me, okay? Like, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone can make mistakes. I'm bad too. So, like, if I'm standing here and I throw the E, then the E will hit him before the Rune Prison goes off. And what does that do? It maximizes damage. Because the E would hit, it would lower his MR, and then the Rune Prison would go off. But sadly, I misjudged the distance. I should have been standing here, again, to be able to do that. But I wasn't. So this distance, if you're playing Ryze or whatever, you need to memorize these distances on enemy champions. Because in some cases, there will be instances where you go to R, and then you E them, and then you run into them, and then W before activating Q. Maybe we'll see that in this game, I'm not totally sure. But So now that he comes back to lane, I'm level 6, he's level 4. I just want to bully him out of this completely. I just want to tell him to get out of the lane at this point, because he doesn't really have any ability to stay in here. So right now, I'm just poking him with autos. I'm going to chase him. Now, I'm relatively low on mana. That's one of the issues that I'm facing. So I'm just going to CS this wave, and I'm going to go in ward. Okay? I guess I didn't drop the ward, because so Warwick, but I was going to recall. Okay, so Warwick's over here. I just rune prison him, whatever, and then I end up recalling. Okay, that's fine. So now I'm going to end up picking up Catalyst, and this is really neat because you can do some really cute things with Catalyst. It doesn't just give you the HP and the mana values, which is obviously really great for Ryze. The passive is what you want to think about, because it means that in certain cases you can trade unfavorably because you know that you're going to be getting the Catalyst proc soon. And enemies oftentimes will forget that, so they will trade what normally would be favorable to them, but they're not factoring in that they're about to level up, which means that you're probably about to level up. And so actually the steroid from Catalyst made it so that your trade was more beneficial in the longer term of things. Okay, so I just get back here, and he has full, he has full, he has full control of the lane. And so now Twisted Fate's ultimate goes off, okay, and he stuns me. So all I'm looking at right now is where is Twisted Fate, where's Twisted Fate going off? Now, I see all this crap going on at bottom. I see Nidalee in mid, and I don't see Twisted Fate. So I don't know if Twisted Fate's about to come in right here, or if he's going to come in right here, like right here or something. I don't necessarily know. So that's the first thing that's going through my mind is where's Twisted Fate going? Because it heavily affects how I play this. If Twisted Fate does not show top, then I end up just punishing the ever-loving crap out of Renekton right now. And again, it wouldn't just be Renekton. If like a Shen or like a Tryndamere or anything like tried to do this, Shyvana, they would be met with the same thing. So now, Destiny went off completely. So we're going to see this. Okay, so he goes into me. Destiny, now it's too late. Like, Renekton's already used all of his abilities, and what do you notice about Renekton? He's already moving backwards. You can see it. So when he gives this up, it's obvious Twisted Fate's not coming because it's been too long for Twisted Fate. So as soon as I realize that, I press S, which is stop command. It means stop moving, because I want to stop moving, because now I'm going to turn on, I'm going to turn on this fucking crocodile. Hit him with that, and then I just back off, because I don't want to walk into him and take all the minion aggro. And now I turned on ultimate because why? I want to get the spell vamp from the passive of the ultimate so that I generate more HP. Now right now, again, this is that sweet spot that I was talking about like 600 mana or something. You generally want to stay around this full HP versus full HP in order to get a kill. This is probably between like level 7 and 11, and then obviously the game just completely changes once core items and stuff, and second core items and whatever are factored in. So here I go and I drop that ward down. That's a relatively safe ward. Lets me know if the jungler is gonna come out of anything. And now because Warwick was trying to be really cute and stuff, Nidalee ends up getting the kill. I just swung down with Nidalee and picked up the kill. And it's okay to do this because my lane's shoved, and if your lane is shoved and you have potential other opportunities to do things, then do it. And now here I'm gonna go and I ping on Twisted Fate, and this is because why? Because Twisted Fate just activated Destiny, okay? And Renekton just got back to top lane, and my lane is shoving. They may think that I just recalled. Now, remember, where did Warwick drop that ward? Okay, so I want to I'm abusing something that just happened. So, this is actually an abuse on abuse on vision. It's actually granting them security. See this ward? Okay, I remember this ward. So, Twisted Fate can see all of this, right? So if I were to try to come in through here, he's gonna see it, right? So Twisted Fate feels really safe from anything on the left-hand side. So what ends up happening is I just want to walk out of vision from that ward, right? So I'm gonna show that I'm going back through, and now I click up, and now I see Twisted Fate, okay? And I saw that he just dropped a ward in that brush too. So I'm just going to abuse his vision because I know he's feeling really safe right now. He doesn't have Destiny. He can't try to Destiny out with like some tricky, you know, flashy maneuvers. And I know that he feels safe from the left-hand side because they're going to think that I've recalled because I had complete control over top lane. I know that there's no way Renekton could have dropped a ward up there, so they don't have any ward vision over Riverbrush. So by coming right back in through the blue and now around through mid, this is just an easy kill on Twisted. Nidalee is a little bit out of position, but it ends up being okay. And now I can recall. And that minion really hates me. So of course, standard, just try to complete Roa as fast as possible, and now I go straight back to top lane. One thing I could do, it always depends, this is opportunistic, is getting golems. It depends on how the lane's shoving, how fast it's shoving. If, like, whatchamacallit, if the minion wave was further back, like, it wasn't in the middle of the lane, I would probably just eat golems right now. That's something that you can do, because golems equate to essentially a CS wave. Okay, so again, Destiny, and I can't necessarily engage on him until I see what's going on with Destiny, right? So you see that I back off. I do activate the Rune Prison because if Twisted Fate is coming top or something, I just want to be, you know, semi-ready. And now that's gone off, and now I'm gonna kite into him. And now we're going through this, and I'm trying to keep this spacing because remember, all I care about is this Q, right? And now I got the Rune Prison. And now he's going to turn around, and I notice that he's turned around, so I turn back around. And now I just finish off the wave with the remainder of my my ultimate to generate the most efficiency out of the spell vamp. So here, yep, and again, I get the level up now from Catalyst, and look at my HP and my mana. So that's another thing where even if that, like, if Renekton wasn't that far behind and that trade would have been favorable to him, that Catalyst would have completely turned the tides. And that's one example of like how you can use it to manipulate things into your favor in the laning phase. So here I have, you know, massive control over Riverside Brush. I don't want to be here, but it's a siege minion wave, so I'm most likely just gonna CS this as fast as possible. Now I'm waiting, I assume, for ultimate, yeah. And end up just recalling, even though I don't have a Roa, or it looks like I was gonna recall, but then Renekton came right back into lane, so I stay. And now, again, I'm just trying to pressure him. This is all about pressuring. I know that there wasn't a lot of it in this video, but I want to make it as uncomfortable as possible to try to get any CS. Taking a shot there. It's a little bit of a mistake. If you're trying to do that pressure with Ryze, I'm just going to give a tip. Basically, when the tower blinks to charge up its beam to shoot a minion, that's when you want to go into Q. Or you want to Q like as the ball from the tower is in mid-flight. That way the tower is on attack cooldown, basically. Its attack animation's on cooldown, and it can't possibly attack you. It'll blink to you, it'll show that the line's on you, and you'll get that little ding from the League of Legends client that's like, bing, like, that lets you know that the tower has aggro on you. But it can't hit you, it won't hit you. So you can actually overstep the tower boundary line with Ryze a lot of the times, especially because of the range on his Q, as long as you're factoring in that little thing. So I'll just go over it really, really quick. So see, like, the tower, like right now, so fictional scenario, this is all like, you know, obviously it's not happening right now, but let's say Renekton is here. Okay, so this is Renekton. Alright, the big R. I'll use a different color, actually. Here. What the fuck? Okay, that's Renekton. Okay? And, I'm standing, like, I don't know, here, whatever, like, where I am. As this shot is going in, I can walk in to, like, here. Okay? QEW him, and then walk out. Because the attack animation from the tower. Okay? Because this ball has to hit this minion, and then it has to readjust to me, and by the time that's happened, the ball will have hit the minion by the time I've activated my combo, and then I step out of range. Okay, this doesn't apply to Ryze, this applies to everyone. Okay, this is just like how to bully under tower. If you're playing a ranged champ or you're playing a champ that, you know, has spells and abilities that are really bullying under people that are getting shoved under tower, like Syndra, Orianna. I mean, obviously in mid, it's a lot harder to do than it is if you're purple side top lane, but the concept still applies, so. So again, this is all just making him feel uncomfortable. Even if he gets the CS, that's not what it's entirely about. You want to break the mental will of your opponent. So just make them feel as uncomfortable as possible. That's also partially why I mentioned the stop technique in front of tower. You know, when they're trying to CS under their tower and you're just standing still, that's really irritating to a lot of people. Even if their EQ is really good and they don't get bothered by it, it's still something that you can do because it offers a lot of benefits. So now my mana is relatively low. We see that I've dropped below that 600 threshold, and I've also dropped below the 600 threshold without even having Roa or, you know, any sort of spell pen. Like, I don't have Sork pen boots or anything. So I can't really kill him, right? Now, you see these, like, mini starter steps. This is, again, you have to live this fine edge. So I mess up here. This is a mistake by me. I shouldn't be able to get hit by this stun. I should be standing back about centimeter and a half or so. So this is just a mechanical error on my part. You know, so Renekton hits me. We're gonna go through this in like freeze frame. Okay, and he's continuing to auto me. Alright, so now I cast the E to get the MR debuff on him. Okay, and I'm waiting to see when he's gonna try to turn an angle. And as soon as he turns an angles, you notice I turn an IQ. And I'm waiting for that turn an angle. Because as soon as he gives that up, now I know he's entirely on cooldown, okay? And I wanted to wait to use the Q, additionally, because I want my spells, I'm going to go into paint, okay? I want my spells to be more lined up for a combo, because that's why I'm hesitating to turn on R. Even though my mana is still relatively low, I still have some stuff to work with, and also something that I'm keeping inside of my mind is this, level 10. What happens level 10? Boom, Catalyst. So this minion wave can give me 10. So I'm entertaining all of this stuff. Even though I didn't want to pick a fight, his misstep grants an opportunistic situation where a kill is possible because I have Ignite up. Okay, and now I turn on ultimate. And why do I turn on ultimate? Because now I'm able to generate the maximum efficiency and also what's going on. What did I have to wait for to turn on ultimate? Well, I have to wait for this. Ooh, why is the screen? Why don't I have my thing? What's that? This is all AoE damage he's going to suffer. If he tries to retreat, I can now hit minions to try to get damage onto him. So that's also one of the other reasons that I have to wait for ultimate. Is because you want to factor in the AoE ricochet damage. So in some senses, Ryze can also be thought of and approached the same way as Mordekaiser, in the sense that in some instances you do want to fight inside of minions because of how his ultimate works and the mechanics inside of it. Not necessarily your own minions all the time, but inside of your opponent's minions. And that can also grant them a false sense of security. You know, if they're thinking that like they have a big minion wave and you'll take a lot of damage from it. But that's not entirely the case, so, yeah. So now we go back in. He activates Dominus, and here's that movement speed, and it wouldn't even matter, but I could chase him to his tower and kill him. That movement speed, I mean, you were seeing it. He wasn't going to get away. So if you're a Ryze player and you don't use movement quintessence, or you don't use movement masteries or utility tree to get that nimble thing, the 21, it has its benefits basically. Although again, like I talked about in the very beginning, you can certainly run defensive tree on Ryze, but it's not my preference. I prefer to run Ryze like this. So now I just have to get back to lane. Dragon, you know, goes off, so just time that in your head. And now, basically, all that I'm thinking that I want to do is I want to get back to my lane, I want to shove it out, and as I shove it out, put Renekton at his tower, and then I want to rotate mid. And the reason that I want to rotate mid is because our left side river is extremely dark. So like, shove tower, ward left side river, go mid, shove mid, because AD carry and support should rotate mid, because bot tower has been captured, and because dragon's gone. So then we get mid tower, and then top tower can just kind of freeze. Top lane can just kind of freeze, and we can rotate back to that afterwards. But if right now, it's not the priority. Like, I don't have to get this top tower. So hopefully here, you guys get to see some bullying. Okay, so TF, again, I have to see where Destiny is. And you saw I just used the F keys. So I spammed to Shaco because I was seeing, because there's only a few people that TF can go on right now. He can go on Fizz or he can go on Shaco. And I just wanted to see if he was going to try to go on Shaco. Because if he does try to go on Shaco, then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go through, I'm going to just go like this, and I'm going to chase. And then, you know, depending on if TF chases into the jungle or whatever, then I can go on to TF. So I just need to check Shaco. I don't need to check Fizz, because Shaco is the only one that I can support right now, in the instance that Twisted Fate is going to go on to Shaco. So, and then obviously I don't want to use the F keys on Caitlyn or Nidalee, because it's just pointless. They're at Fountain. TF obviously can't go on there. So yeah, so here's this bullying. Now he's going to go in for the CS, punish, and there you saw that, the tower thing. And that's basically what you want to do. You can do that from level 3, but we saw that Renekton tried to dive me level 2, or he tried to all-in me level 2, but it obviously wasn't very favorable for him. So, and now I just back up, EQ, and now I wait for minions to generate aggro again. He ignites me, I Q him, and now he's dead, because the minion's holding aggro, and that's it. So I'll go through this step by step, because there is some stuff that he does that's really bad. So here, when we're getting into the lane, okay, he comes in for a slice and dice, and I feel like he could stun me here under tower, but I want to maximize space. Like, I need to maximize distance right now. I can't just rune prison him. I feel like a lot of Ryze players, they might just, like, get afraid Renekton just dove onto them or whatever, but I need to rune prison. But I can't do it right here. I have to get the distance, because I need that ricochet from the E to go off effectively, but I also have to be out of his Q range. Even though he's about to use the Q on me, I have to then just stay out of his auto attack range. Initially, the goal is to stay out of the Q range, but obviously I can't do that at this point, so now it's just to stay out of the auto attack range whilst still staying as close to him as possible, and also being able to do the tower poke. So I have to get to here, and now I get the rune prison off. Okay, now I made a mistake, and I would critique myself for this, of course, is I didn't E before rune prisoning. Okay, so this is bad on my part. I could have done more damage with my W. So this is a mistake on me, but I did this partially in part to just the fact that I know I can get the kill anyway, even without that little maximizing of the damage. So I get the rune prison off after I've created distance, and now I can get the E and the Q off, and he has to turn around because he's off cooldown, okay, and I'm so high up on HP. So as he turns around, again, the tower is going to be aggroed on the minions, so that's all that I have to worry about right now. I have to let the tower aggro reset, which it now has. He ignites me, I Q him, and I'm just staying on the edge, and tower aggro resets onto minion, and I go in and I get the kill. Okay, and so now I don't think there's too much more to this game. And now I end up just going back top because all towers are down, and I just shove it with Nidalee. But Nidalee and Fizz, and then Twisted Fate saying mid open basically. Turn on alt, shove the wave, whatever. So this game ends up ending right now. But so anyways, that was a mini commentary tutorial on the thought processes between using attack move, basically stop command, how to use it on Ryze, how to abuse it on Ryze, basically how you should think when facing melee champions and stuff, and And, you know, something that I didn't talk about that I can actually go over right now, I'm going to do it when, like, I coach a Melee champion, or if I do a commentary game on a Melee champion, is there's something that fundamentally a lot of people don't think about. I talked about it on stream a few times, but not so much. So, like, right now, imagine, hypothetically, okay, we're both Melee champions, right? Me and Renekton. This is just, like, say I'm Tryndamere, okay? So I'm Tryndamere. This is not Ryze. This is an illusion, and Tryndamere is an albino. I don't know. So say that I'm like Tryndamere, and I'm like, I don't know, here. Like I'm the X, okay? Renekton has to get this CS, okay? He does have a 0.67 attack. You know, he has attack speed cooldown, right? He can't just auto, right? So he has to get the CS. So I would walk up to him and auto him as he goes for the auto on the CS, and then I would instantaneously click backwards. And when you play Melee versus Melee, it gets this nitty gritty because it's all about, like, it's not just you anymore. There's a third player in the lane, and the third player are the minions. Because like the last hits on minions become really nitty gritty and crucial. In the same sense, you can do that here. Like I know he wants to get the CS, so I punish him with my skills. But for people that are playing Melee champions or something against like Renekton, Shyvana, or like all these common Melee top laners, this is the thought process that you have to have, is he has to auto attack this. If he auto attacks it, he cannot respond to me with an auto attack. Therefore, I auto him, I back away, his auto attack cooldown animation is still not finished, I go unscathed. He's gonna get the CS anyway, but you can hit him with an auto. So top lane gets really nitty gritty in that regard because it's just this endless like mind game of, are you gonna get it? Are you gonna get it? Are you gonna get it? It's like a tug of war over the minions. That's really neat. But this can also be applied to bot lane too. If you're an 80 carry or something and you're watching this just because you watch my videos, then if you see the enemy Caitlyn has to go and get a CS, that's your chance to poke her. As long as you and your support are properly positioned and, you know, you're not getting zoned out from anything, like, she needs that big siege minion, she's gonna go and, you know, she has to auto attack it. That's your chance to auto her. You know what I mean? I wish I could give, like, a better analogy, but, like maybe, like, in animes or something, like, when a character has, like, a super move, and he's vulnerable for, like, 1 second during that move or something, because of how he angles himself or positions himself. It's the same basic thing. In that attack, that's basically that character's super move. And in that animation, they are vulnerable. So then you hit them before they can, you know, respond. So anyways, that was the Ryze video. Going over this. I'll do this with more champions, not just Ryze. Just Ryze is one of my best champions. And I feel very comfortable explaining stuff about him, his combos, and everything else. I will do a full commentary game on Ryze. This is not a commentary game because the game ends so short, and I was just trying to emphasize positioning, mechanics, minion control, lane control, and abusing the stop command, the attack command, and just, you know, factoring in cooldowns, because we saw that, you know, Renekton's cooldowns played a heavy factor in how I was able to abuse him and stuff. And like always, just make your enemy laner rage and make his team hate him. That should be your goal in a lane. I mean, don't make him, like, toxic, but, like, just make him not have fun. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that's it for the Ryze movement and zoning. So, alright. Okay. Ugh, I'm so tired. He's like passed out. Alright. Yeah, Sungjay's still sleeping. He's a dwedgie. Alright, let me just check all my social medias. Alright. Uh... Alright, so I gotta see if Twitch has that yet, so I can upload it to YouTube. Okay. Alright, hopefully this is it, and I can just rip it straight to YouTube. So, we're just gonna have this muted anyway. So, this game was played a few days ago. This is only... Alright, let me... Hi! I just deleted it. If you can get a kill pre-6... 1 second, guys. I just gotta get this video onto YouTube. Because there is some stuff that he does that's really bad. So... it's not done encoding. Okay, okay. That sucks. It's not done encoding. Fuck. Alright. I think NA diamond equal Korea gold 1. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna play one more game. Oh shit.